Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning everyone. My name is Dr. Syahrul from Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta, Indonesia. Today I would like to present our community service project entitled Exploring Teachers' Perspective on the Implementation of Practical Worship Guide for Standardization Worship Practice in Muhammadiyah Schools. This project was conducted in Muhammadiyah Schools across Magelang Regency. The program focused on developing and implementing a practical worship guide based on the Muhammadiyah Tarjih Decisions or Putusan Tarjih Muhammadiyah to support worship learning and standardization. Muhammadiyah Schools need a common reference for worship learning that is aligned with the Muhammadiyah Tarjih Decisions. However, differences in worship practice and learning resources are still found across schools. To address this issue, our team developed and distributed a practical worship guide to Muhammadiyah School in Magelang Regency. While the guidebook has been used for one semester, little is known about how teachers perceive its implementation. Therefore, the study aims to explore teachers' perspective and identify the contribution of the guidebook to worship learning and worship standardization in Muhammadiyah School. Worship learning in Islamic education requires not only theoretical understanding but also practical application. However, worship practice often vary among schools because teachers use different learning resources. To address this issue, our team developed a practical worship guide based on the Muhammadiyah Tarjih Decisions. The guidebook is expected to support standardized worship learning and strengthen the religious identity of Muhammadiyah School. This study employs a descriptive qualitative approach supported by quantitative data. The participants consist of 49 ISMUBA teachers from Muhammadiyah Junior and Senior Secondary Schools. Data were collected through questionnaires, focus group discussion, and documentation. The data were analyzed using descriptive, statistic, and thematic analysis supported by triangulation. The first finding concerned ease of use and material clarity. More than 90% of teachers agree that the book is easy to use, systematically organized, and help create more structured learning. Teachers also state that the practical format and multimedia explanation make the guidebook easier to use in classroom learning and worship activities. The second finding concerned conformity with Muhammadiyah Tarjih Decisions and learning impact. Most teachers agree that the guidebook is consistent with the Muhammadiyah Tarjih Decisions. Teachers also believe that the guidebook helps standardize students' understanding of worship and serves a reliable reference for worship learning. Furthermore, teachers report improvement in students' understanding, participation, and worship practice skill. Regarding implementation in school, teachers gave highly positive response. The guidebook was successfully integrated into ISMUBA learning activities and used in worship practice season. Teachers observed that students become more enthusiastic, focused, and confident when learning worship procedures. These findings indicate strong acceptance of the guidebook in Muhammadiyah School. This project contributes practically and educationally. The book provides standardized worship reference for teachers and students. It also supports religious habituation programs and strengthens the integration of worship theory practice within ISMUBA learning. In conclusion, the practical worship guide received highly positive evaluation from ISMUBA teachers. The guidebook is considered easy to use, systematically organized, strongly aligned with Muhammadiyah Tarjih Decisions. Teachers also report that the guidebook supports worship standardization improve students' understanding and enhance engagement in worship practice. Overall, the guidebook functions not only as a learning resources but also as effective pedagogical instrument for strengthening religious culture in Muhammadiyah school. The finding also provides several important implications. From an educational perspective, the guidebook supports the standardization of worship practice and strengthen religious culture in Muhammadiyah school. The guidebook also helps teachers integrate theoretical understanding with practical worship activities and support student daily worship habituation. From a policy perspective, Muhammadiyah educational institution may consider wider adoption of the guidebook as a standard reference for worship learning. Furthermore, development school focus on digital learning resources, worship practice videos, and continuous professional development programs for ISMUBA teachers. Finally, these photographs show that the implementation of our community service program, including book development, distribution, classroom implementation, worship practice guides, and teacher evaluation workshop. Thank you very much for your attention. I look forward for your question and feedback. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.